What I'd like to do is share now and then get you to start to apply it to your organization. 4 principles that we've learned are important to shaping culture. And I'll tell you how we learned this the hard way. We learned it over our 40 years of trial and error, okay? And after, I don't know, 25 years of doing it, we went, wait a minute, there's 4 things that are absolutely critical. That if we make sure we touch these 4 principles in some way, and we can touch these principles in 1,000 different ways, there isn't just one way, we have a good chance of forming a very effective culture shaping plan. So let's talk about those. First is purposeful leadership. First amongst equal is the idea, and we've been talking about everyone this morning has said on an individual level, on any level, team level, at an organization level. I love the Clorox example of a legacy. We've learned over the years that people are driven by why, and that why helps them overcome adversities, that gives them an energy they didn't think they had, and it can energize an organization to do things that may or may not make sense in traditional terms. So let me give you a good example of that. We did some work with CVS. A pharmacy when they were, merging. We did our work with them, and the first piece of work we did with them was to come up with a purpose. Their purpose was something like, we help people on a better path to health. We got the executive team really grounded in that. 2 years later, they stopped selling cigarettes. $2 billion of revenue. They forego because it didn't fit their purpose. And you know what's happened? Their revenues have grown significantly in all the other areas of health that are aligned with their purpose. It worked. It worked big time. Second, we've been talking about this in many different ways all day. You don't change a culture, you don't shift a culture until there's significant change of behavior at the top. Doesn't have to be significant. Marshall was great. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Peter was great. It's 2%. Yes, all of that's true. And if there isn't some vehicle for leaders at the top individually to get insights about themselves and how they're leading and the impact it has, you're not going to move from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4. It also is collective, that teams have to change how they behave together and how they operate. So personal change is a critical part. People have to realize what got you here may not get you there in terms of what the culture needs. Okay? Now, those 2 things are about leaders and personal, and that's where I'm saying you're going to get your biggest leverage in your plan to move from 3 to 4. If your leaders aren't engaged, you're going to have a hard time to get above that. And once you've done that, you do have to get a broad engagement of a critical mass of people. I don't know what critical mass means. It could mean 2 levels from the top, 3 levels from the top. It could, in larger organizations, it could be thousands of people that you need to get aligned with the kind of values, behaviors, and purpose that you want to see. And then finally, if your systems aren't aligned, and we've been hearing this from our speakers, if your systems aren't aligned, your HR systems, how you manage performance, how you evaluate, how you hire, how you exit, all of these things need to be aligned with this picture of the ideal culture that you're trying to create. All of it's supported along the way, and we'll come back and talk about how metrics helps with all of this. So when we work with organizations, I'm going to go back. Those are the first steps.